Alright, baby. I've been given enough animal tranquilizers to put a small blue whale into a coma. And the money's on whether or not I can finish a stream like this. So let's get to it. Hi, Greg. Hello, anyone else lurking around? Yeah, animal tranquilizers. Let's go gambling. Oh, I can't stop winning. I can't stop winning. Can't stop winning. They're so tranquil. Y'all remember when we were doing this? I feel like I should add like a balloon coming out of the, like a word balloon coming out of the brush right here, and give it like a little word bubble right around here or so. That might be good. But we're gonna be drawing the boys. You know them. You know, dearest Walter and William. Man, I don't know where. I don't know where Walt and Lily got their names from in universe, because canonically they don't have parents, not present parents anyway. So I don't know who would have named them. Who would have named them, and then who would have made it like an alliteration thing. I mean, I guess I'm gonna be using like alliteration a lot in a very cartoony world, so it was very democracy. Alright, also happy birthday to Pig and Alphonse. Probably should say something like that on stream. Two very good friends sharing a birthday. I didn't remember them sharing a birthday, but you know, I'm not the best at remembering certain details, so. Well, I imagine not anymore because of time zones, right, Greg? Heck, time zones. I care not for them and their time shenanigans. Their time tomfoolery. They are all they are is a waste of time to me. Sick of hearing about time zones. But still, happy birthday to Alphonse. Whether it's today or yesterday, some point in linear time, you can always just wish someone a happy birthday, and it doesn't have to be applicable that second. There's no rule against it, it's just social faux pas. And who cares about social faux pas anyway? Well, the French aristocracy, they're dead. So, I don't think you should be taking life advice from those guys. Call up Marie Antoinette. She tells you to let them eat cake, and you're just like, they're knocking down my door, and they have a guillotine with them. She's like, yeah, that'll happen. It's like, damn it, Mary. How could you? I want to say Dan is PST. I don't know where people live. Heck, technically, I don't even know where Pig lives. I know Alphonse's rough location, because he lives on a relatively small island. But Pig lives somewhere in East Canada. You know, with the rest of all of Canada. Except Vancouver. But you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's not exactly a small number of people living on the east coast of Canada, so. I do not have Pig narrowed down to a very specific location. Just a time zone. Sometimes you need to know where your friends live, but not all the time. You don't need to be hoarding data like a bunch of computer nerds. I have all my friends' social security numbers written down on a post-it note in my office. I don't know why I need that, but if I need it, it's there. How's this looking? This is looking leafy so far. Leafy greens. Yeah. I hope everyone's day was okay. Mine was alright. Work did a weird thing that I didn't like, which is it was quiet early on in my shift, and then it really picked up towards the latter half, and I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy that, you know, in spite of all the hard work I'm trying to do, work getting busier. I do. I love my bunny. I was thinking, I was like, man, if I could stream with Oswald on my lap, I would. But he wouldn't like that. It wouldn't go well. So. Not an option, unfortunately. We must do what makes the bunwee happy. Lest we raise his anger. His ire. Anyone in chat have experience drawing tropical jungles? I definitely could use some more experience. Oswald Cam would be more possible. That's true, and I've frequently spoken against that, but it would be more plausible. I can't deny that. Oh. It'd just be more What is... I keep... Like, I have my headphones on, right? And I can't necessarily hear a lot through that, with, like, the music and everything going. But, like, I'm hearing, like, a beat or something in the background. I live on the bottom of a split-level house, and my neighbor plays basketball. So... Like, I'm not going to ask them to stop. It's not really that big of a deal, but there are some days where I just have a constant rhythm going from the dribbling of a basketball. And that's a thing. But I don't think they're out playing basketball right now. It sounds like it's coming... The call is coming from inside the house, and that's concerning. But I don't own any clown statues. Lord, I remember when I started realizing it's just like, oh, if an internet story doesn't give you specific names or dates for their story, then it probably didn't happen and it's made up. It's not true. People lie on the internet. I get it now. 320 AD. I mean, honestly, I'd believe it. Also, I should probably... We're gonna avoid giving too much detail to this area where Walt's hand is probably going. I mean, heck, there's that one weirdly famous Mesopotamian... That's how you say that, right? Probably. Mesopotamian trader who sold subpar... who was a copper scammer who sold shitty copper to a lot of people and got so many complaint letters written about him that enough survived that we know that he was a serial scammer. I mean, it helps that Mesopotamia used, you know, clay tablets for their letters and basically all documentations. That might have been smart to have kept doing if we want it for preservation reasons, but unfortunately Egypt and what have you was like, no, we're switching to papyrus, and I ain't talking about the Undertale, man. I'm talking about a precursor to modern paper. And I have a deep love for paper, but definitely doesn't hold up well under the elements, especially compared to clay. You know what happens when clay gets buried in dirt, it like gets preserved. The dirt just kind of holds it gently. You know what happens when paper gets buried in dirt? It gets eaten by worms. Worms and grubs and what have you. Not great for the pit. Not great to be a paper fan. I want to be held gently by dirt, honestly. I mean, you know, that'll waste most people at the end at the end of their lives. Yeah, exactly. You're ahead of me, Greg. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Don't have a heart attack. You're not 92 yet. Lord, no spoilers, but as some of y'all might know, Gravity Falls is making a big comeback. And, what was I thinking of? One of the new, like, pieces of content that dropped was, like, a letter, like, there's a lot of it's been, like, letters and documents between... I mean, you got a good point there, Greg. It's just having a resurgence, I should say, given that, a lot more content is out. A lot more first-party content is out. But like a lot of the new content is documents between characters, and one of them was from the author to Dipper, and it starts with, "If you're reading this, I'm dead." And I did have a heart attack, because honestly I wouldn't put it past Alex Hirsch to kill a character off screen post his cartoon ending. So I was very scared. But then he was like, "Ha, kidding, pranked ya." It's what I call a prank. So I nearly died. But yeah, love new Gravity Falls stuff. If you don't know, some of the just got pranked. Lord, the fake shows on Gravity Falls are some of the best fake shows ever put to film. But in like some of the post Gravity Falls content, Ducktective, Girl, Why You Actin' So Cray Cray, but one of them has Dipper showing that he's writing his own journal about supernatural stuff. And honestly, I'd like to see that. Like Dipper's journal filled with new weird creatures from Gravity Falls, under the tutelage of the author. That'd be pretty cool. I'd buy that book. I do still need to get the Book of Bill, but like I said last stream, bought car, no book money. Honestly, I've been surprised at how cheap Transformers is as a hobby compared to some other ones. Like, you think big plastic transforming figures would be more expensive, but honestly, compared to like most card games, or even, you know, getting books, it's not too bad. I got this one really cool Bumblebee figure. That was my last thing when I went shopping the other day, and that was only like, that was under 20 bucks. So I was like, heck yeah. I was like, I need one thing, but also Bumblebee. Bumbles your bee. Bumblebee tuna, that too. So I'm not gonna go crazy with them, because obviously anything gets expensive if you buy enough, but I got like 2 or 3 Transformers with me now, and they're pretty neat. Pretty neat to just play at your desk. $500 cigarettes. Buy 500 cigarettes. No, I'm good. I don't know if I said this on stream. I think I said this at my day job. I feel like the window for me trying smoking has passed, specifically because I used to work in a kitchen, and everyone smokes in a kitchen. Like literally everyone. And I didn't smoke there, so if I'm not smoking in a place where everyone else is smoking every time they have a free 5 minutes, I'm probably not gonna smoke. There's no smoking in Ratatouille. Well, that's because it was a Disney film, so they wouldn't have done that. That being said, I have no doubt that high-class French chefs smoke a decent number, though probably a waning number, you know, given that smoking has for a while now been labeled wildly bad for you. About one of the worst things you can do for your health. So I have no doubt there's still some 5-star chefs in France that smoke. I imagine it's on the decline compared to historic numbers. Oh my goodness. I seriously, I almost, I wish it was, wish I could remove viewer count on the Twitch app. Remove that. I removed that on the website, on the dashboard on my website. That was always the best for my mental health, but it's a lot harder. You can't really fully remove it on Twitch. Removing mental health, yeah. I should have my mental health revoked. I'm not handling it well, so. What was I just thinking of? But yeah, sometimes I can't help but peek. And that's not good for you. You shouldn't be doing that. So in case anyone's wondering, I decided we're gonna start streaming Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate tomorrow. I figured it's like, you know what? I don't need more distractions. If I have a stream where I don't have anything really set up, we'll just play Monster Hunter. The hype is there. I think a lot of people in the community like Monster Hunter. I'd love to fight Fatalis at some point, so. Different from health insurance? It's not, but also I'm glad to see you excited, Beppa.
Make sure you recommend streams to your friends so
Oh my goodness. I'm really counting more on, I'm really hoping I find a way to get the book I'm working on to take off more. Because I really think if there's anything that I'm doing that's got a chance of making decent money and helping me move towards independence, it's that more than anything. Is it the Bible too? No. I'd rather not. You know, I don't think so. Yeah. You know, I don't know if I've asked this, but if y'all know any places that like publish like short stories, you know, like where you mayhaps you pay or not, I don't really care, but more or less just a place where it's just like, hey, original, relatively short stories over here. Let me know. I wouldn't mind submitting some stuff to them. I think that'd be a bestseller. I don't, for a lot of reasons. I hate to burst your bubble, Greg. I'm also not the kind of guy who thinks any publicity is good publicity, so that's probably where you're losing me. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've heard that in the distant past, because I like some classic books, some Victorian era stuff, that like they'd be published in magazines for people, like short stories would get published in different monthly publications for people to peruse. And I don't really think that's the case now, for multiple reasons. It'd be neat if it could work like that. Right now, the thing I'm thinking, the platforms I'm probably going to be putting stuff out on is Kindle, Apple Books, and Gumroad, but we'll see. Obviously, if anyone's like, wait, Cahill, you dummy, do this instead, I'd be like, okay, I'll consider it. No promises, but if it's your recommendation, I count on people knowing better than me, so. Yeah. I'll tell you something. I was talking about comics. I know, shocking. in a Discord today with some folks, and one posted about like a independent comic publisher, you know, for people who are making their own original stuff to publish at, of which there's a few. And I got awful close to being like, fuck it, we're making a comic again, but I really gotta stick to my guns. I can't just throw everything away and start working on a comic whenever the whim hits me. Especially since, you know, that kind of production doesn't last, so I end up not actually making anything. Writing is definitely much easier to keep up. I'll say that much. Fully illustrated comic books, much harder. Heck, even comic strips can be hard, and these are just like 4 to 5 panels at most. How does this look? Look tree-like? I hope so. Well, not tree-like, but it looks bush-like. Trees got bark, and their bark is worse than their bite. So, I almost looked at numbers again. Like I said, I need to stop. And I just need to chug a gallon of water. And keep on going. You know how it is. I wouldn't call it number phobia, but honestly, sometimes straight facts isn't what you need, you know? They're not actually gonna help. This is, well, I don't think this is Undertale. I don't think I talked about this on stream, but I'm pretty sure there's I think it's like a HoloLive VTuber who is also pirate themed. And she's made a decent amount of animated music videos, which is super impressive. But I checked one because I really like the animation for it. And it was like music by Toby Fox, and I'd be like, oh, "Sir, what are you doing here?" Adam Sandler, what are you doing here? I'm waiting for them to play Gangnam Style. It's just a surprise. Do you think Toby Fox considers himself like a composer first? He definitely seems to love doing music the most. I mean, clearly he also does game design and comedy and programming, but have a good work, Greg. We'll see you around. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if it almost seems to me like if Toby Fox had to choose one of his passions to keep up with and the others had to be dropped, he'd pick composer pretty handily. And I'm not even saying that as a good or bad thing, I'm just saying. Either he's been doing music the longest, or it's kind of like, it's just the thing he really likes thinking about. Because, I mean, there's different parts to making stories and writing and comics and all that stuff. And I definitely have my favorite parts of the process. So maybe that's him with music, but who knows? He's a reclusive man. He's a hermit, and honestly, I wish I could be too. Lord, if I could make it I feel like a lot of people are just like, yes, you're successful and famous, but it comes with the internet doing a bunch of weird shit. Would you do it? Is it worth it? And they'd be like, man, if I get to be a hermited recluse who works on whatever project he feels like it, because he made and continues to make a bunch of money off of like one of the first things he puts out. I take that. And be like, oh yeah, they keep making weird art of the skeleton. Oh well. All I have to do is shut my blinds and I'll never see people again. Heck, I even feel like, I mean, I guess it would depend on the kind of, like, you know, who majorly is reading or consuming my stuff. But, like, you know, obviously I don't mean cutting contact with all humanity. And just greatly limiting the kind of stuff I already do. And, like, imagining instead getting a lot of interaction out of conventions, that might be nice, but again, that depends on the community. And every community on the internet has some nasty sides to it. It's a big if there. I don't know. It can be a lot of work trying to be like, okay, we're all gonna be good apples, right? Yeah. Lord, I saw a like a cropped, you know, a cut up bit from The Annoying Orange. I know. Aren't you glad I brought that up? But it was like one of the Apple characters they have, and they're like, okay, Apple, if you drink this, you'll get taller. And he's like, oh boy, I'd love to be taller. So he does it, and then the fucking pear comes on. He's like, this is estrogen. Like, he just says, this is estrogen. And then that video ends, and I did not. I mean, I don't. Hasn't the Annoying Orange been one of the brands to actively be like, yeah, pride, woohoo, don't be a jerk about it, that kind of stuff. But regardless, I don't know where that was. I can guarantee you there's nothing funnier than just having it cut off. And that's also assuming it wasn't edited to be estrogen. But oh my goodness, have I not talked about this on stream? So Jack Kirby, who's one of my favorite comic artists ever, which is not a wild opinion, lots of people love Jack Kirby. He's considered the king of comics, rest his soul. But he made a character for DC called Etrigan, the demon. And he's supposed to kind of be like a demon from Arthurian legend, right? And he's always speaking in rhymes. Someone posted in Pig's Discord a parody comic for trans people. And it was like, and it was using Etrigan's catchphrase, and it was like, "Gone, gone the form of man, rise the demon Astrogan." And I thought about that a lot after seeing it, because I'd never thought of it like that. And I was like, that's pretty good. Because in the comics, it's usually gone, gone the form of man, rise the demon, Estrigan. I almost said estrogen, estrogen. And then literally, that's what I was saying. Take out one letter, it makes it work that well. Goodness gracious, trans pride. You know, like, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Trans pride. Heck, if you're trans and on some hormones and you get to say that, hell yeah, my gal. You're you're doing cooler things than me, honestly. I come home and I play games and take a nap. You're improving your mental health, getting the body you want, and getting to say a cool, funny thing while doing it. Is there truly anything better? I was thinking of. Now I'm thinking of the Hellsing. I have the Hellsing comics here. I need to read all of them. Yeah. I know. I remember people like. I think for DBZ, it's debatable whether or not Team 4-Star made an on par or better dubbing experience. But I almost feel like for Hellsing, it's not even a question. Bare minimum, Team 4-Star has created a show on par or surpassing the original with Hellsing. And from what I've seen, I really like OG Hellsing, as in like original material, not the one where they like finished the show before the manga was finished. But what was I thinking of? But yeah, Alucard in that series is just great. When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. And then Andrew WK starts playing, and that's a great choice. I don't think anyone should be. I don't think anyone should be doubting the choice and soundtrack on that. But I mean, here's the thing. I feel like one of the reasons I've never felt really pressured to seek out, like I have a lot. I've seen pieces, and I have the manga right here. I feel like one reason I've never been pressured to like fully go through original Hellsing, double dialogue wise, is just because at the end of the day, the thing I like most from the series is the art, and obviously Team 4-Star didn't really change that, because that's not how an abridged series works. So I have realized this needs to be much bigger. This hand right here, erase and start again. Well, you know what? Maybe we should. We're getting too many layers, but maybe we should draw Walt first. Because, what was I thinking of? Just so that I kind of get an idea of how big his hand needs to be in comparison to his face. He's a cartoon, so it's not necessarily, you know, realistic human proportions, but that's why you want to learn realistic human support proportions so you can work off that kind of stuff. That's good art practice for you, you know. It's only really stylized once you really know what you're doing. Not to, I mean, I'm not even gonna say I know what I'm doing all the time. You know what I mean? Once you get the basics of how drawing realistically works, you can then be like, okay, well then I can take the same principle but extrapolate it out in order to make a stylized version, in order to make something that is definitely similar but does not necessarily realistic. Man, I love how much I have brain farts. I have so many brain farts, you might as well diagnose me with IBS for the head. Or that be irritable head syndrome instead of irritable. Is that a thing? I wouldn't imagine so. That eye is way too big. I know they have black eyes like a doll's eyes, but they're not that big. You know what? I don't really do this a lot, but too big. That actually looks much better. Yeah. Okay, we'll try it. We'll go with this for right now. Worst case scenario is I can always kind of erase parts of it and draw back over it to try and make it look more like the textured pen I use for so much of the comics. Okay. Okay. See, so like one of the things, again, I don't want to sound too preachy, but one of the things I do that is like a realism practice, a note for realism, but I make sure to carry over into my cartoons, is that the ear is roughly level with the eye, and this part, this little diverging part, this starts coming off the head around the same place the eye, you know, midpoint of the eye. So try to keep that for my cartoons. Giving him kind of a Futurama mouth here, but I like it, so we're not gonna say, don't tell anyone. Up. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I found my groove in making relatively in making stuff that is in relatively old style formats. But with that in mind, well, I really like doing them. Where's a good place where I can find people who like them in these formats enough to make them successful? I mean, I've said before, I think at least for the Wallop Bros, I honestly just love these guys, so I'll do them even when I'll draw comics for them even when no one's watching. But it would be nice if they got some recognition for their funny pirate deeds, you know? So I love how I love how I phrased that. Yeah, Walt and Willie deserve the recognition. They're the ones who need people to tell them they're doing a good job. Great cover, Kay. They'll never know. No, but seriously, I'd love it if I found a good group of people who really like these guys. Because right now it's just a small number from the neighborhood watch community who like these boys, and I think they deserve more than that. No, forgot I did this on a different layer. I don't know if so I do this thing where I draw like this kind of half outline around Walt and Willie's eyes, and I don't really think that's supposed to necessarily be like, you know, like this is the pupil and this is the actual outer eye. That was something it's something from old Mickey Mouse comics I picked up that I do think was meant to infer like where Mickey's eyes properly were. But honestly, I just kind of do it to infer like different head shapes and stuff. You know? Be like, these are like their brows. And brows and skulls and stuff. I mean, you know, I'm still kind of getting into Final Fantasy, but when I was watching the trailers for the remake with this soundtrack, I was like, I am so wildly excited and weirdly emotional about the Final Fantasy VII remake. Was there a consensus on whether or not, like, Rebirth was better than Remake? I know some people were disappointed with Remake in certain aspects. So, I don't know if that necessarily, if it got any better with the second installation of the series. I wonder if there's any chance for making like one whole game disc. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a single disc, but at least a single package for putting all the Final Fantasy VII Remake games together. I mean, they're already charging ludicrous amounts for them. So, I don't know. I don't know. They might do it and it might be like $200, so then it's not really worth it. Let's get all the used copies of the single installations without worrying about, you know. I want the sketch on. There we go. Up. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII rules. I will not be taking criticism about this time. I've said that a decent amount on stream, and will continue to say it. But, you know, sometimes with games that have a certain reputation, they... like, I almost feel like just saying I liked it becomes a loaded statement. And I'm like, but I just enjoyed it. I thought it was a good game. That's my whole thought on the matter. Was game is good. I don't know if I'd say that's my whole thought on like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But definitely around that, you know. I just think those games are like pretty and fun. So that's where I'm at. Hi, pig. I hope you've had a good birthday. What was I thinking of? I gift you a sub to my channel, but you already seem to have one, so if there's anything else you want, you let me know. Sometimes, especially over the internet, I feel like the best gift I can give you is just a good old IOU. IO Pig, 1 free Xenoblade video essay. I love trying to give Walton really little lines to suggest their hair. Free. That's a joke. That's a joke. I will screw myself over. Also, Pig, I really need to reinforce, you know, if you want to go into that, like, spreadsheet and start adding bits for different audios that you've thought of, please do. That would greatly expedite the process. There's no big pressure to do that. I definitely need to do a decent amount of the heavy lifting, but also, if I can, I did think of an edit to a joke I suggested to you that I like much better than the thing I was going to do in the video. So, if you're willing to hear that, let me know. Because I got excited thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's good. Write that down. Write that down. Lord. I've really moved past the part in my life where when someone says they haven't seen a certain media, I'm like, well, you have to. But seriously, Golden Age SpongeBob is just such a treasure. 1999 did like 2005 SpongeBob. Some of the best television in a way of comedy. So you don't have to see it, but if you're really not familiar with it and you want to laugh, it's not the worst place to go looking, you know. Also, Pig, starting at roughly 8 o'clock tomorrow. Here, I don't need everything to be secret. Okay. So, I was saying for the Mechon, yeah, that's also an SCP thing, so I was having a problem. So I was like, I want to draw them all as Ultron, and you were like, no, not all of them. I'm like, okay, and that's fine. But you know what would be funnier than one Ultron in a pile of poorly drawn Mechon? One B-1 battle droid from Star Wars, who maybe shows up the entire video, just wandering through the armies and in the background. Just so incredibly lost, so incredibly confused. Doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what's going on. In the Xenoblade 1 section, he's like constantly getting swept up in the hordes of enemies, right? But then in the rest of them, he's just in the background, maybe with like some moss covering him. And he is thinking of, and he's just chilling out, which canonically is how some battle droids end up in Star Wars, so that's fun. But yeah, I thought that was good. Also, last thing I'll run by you is for the expedition part at the opening of the video. Like, you're like, there's an expedition, yada yada yada, and they all die, right? And I was like, I think it would also be fun if we have the expedition members be characters from Xenoblade 2 and 3 with big mustaches and pith helmets on, and then they die, and then when they come up later, you know, as their actual characters, we don't mention that. Like, we have Mithra with a big mustache and a helmet on, just be like, yeah, it's expeditions. And then, you know, she dies in a crash. And then later you're like, and this is Mithra. She's important. And it's just like, I swear I saw her earlier in the video. Again, that could also only be one of the characters. Yes, exactly. Like, you know, because it would be, since it's Xenoblade characters, they would have their, like, color palettes and outfits and everything, however we're drawing that, for that, like, opening scene. But they are distinctly wearing quote-unquote disguises. And again, it's just not mentioned. And and obviously, that can't be a joke throughout the entire video, but I think for the opening thing, having it be later characters in, like, you know, quote-unquote expedition gear who then die, I thought that would be fun. I don't know if Barry does that at all in his Kingdom Hearts video. Obviously, we're not doing one-for-one there, but where he has, like, a Kingdom Hearts 3 character floating around in the scenes for one. He has Chubb play the tub, but... And so... I do think it would be nice if we did, like, something akin to a draw pile or something, but, you know, make it a usable draw pile. Like, so that way we can knock a lot of art out and we can just shoot the shit hanging out with talking about the video. That's definitely one of the ways Barry advertised his, so. But that's up to you. You are the mastermind behind this at the end of the day. So you 100% get the okay of what gets streamed in the making of it and what doesn't. I don't know, I mean, you streamed the Xenoblade games obviously, but I don't know if you streamed anything else and being like, I'm making the video. That sounds like fun, yeah. Obviously I'd be drawn. I don't know if you'd want to doodle too, or if there'd be like another stream activity you could be doing, so that way equal parts of the video get done. Up to you for sure. Dearest boss pig. Yeah, I'm glad I could bring you the battle droid joke on in the on your birthday. That's fun. I fucking love B1. I feel like more than Jar Jar or anyone else, that was always what hooked me as a kid on the Star Wars prequels, right? Like, I think growing up, I can be like, yeah, Phantom Menace isn't good. Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, I like. Are they as good as the originals? I don't know. Probably not. But the battle droids, fucking love the battle droids. I love in Attack of the Clones where the B2s show up. I love the sequence in the factory where C-3PO gets fucked up. I agree, artists might add fun things. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I don't know if there's, like, a program we could use besides Drawpile, but hopefully we could have something where I'd be able to export, like, you know, little PNG stamps of all the, of any of, like, the usable good drawings we might want to have as assets for the video. Because obviously, like, you know, obviously this started with me drawing the Mithra the one time, but that wouldn't be something we could use for the video. We'd want something a decently bit more complex for that. And if we get something like that in a kind of draw pile, we don't want it to go by the wayside in just being stuck on a crunchy JPEG. Like, sure, maybe I could just save the file and then export and then, like, you know, key it out from the back, but probably want something a bit better than that. Oh my goodness. Drawing curves is so hard. Honestly, that's probably good enough. Yeah, 100 respect that. But yeah, I mean, I was just talking about you adding any jokes you want to the spreadsheet for like the appropriate timestamps and stuff, just because that would almost certainly help expedite the process far more than me getting to those naturally. And you being like, well, I was thinking, and I'll be like, oh no. I spent a day on this 5-minute joke. That's just a day gone. Definitely need to sit down one day and grind through the audio. That being said, I gotta say, Pig, you got a good voice for this narration stuff. So, it's gonna be fun. I like listening to you explain Xenoblade. The only reason I haven't made it far is because I literally need to write out little sketches for each second. No, you're great. If you literally want any criticism, I'd say you can go a little fast, but it is a topic you are excited about, and it's the first video you're making. That's going to happen. I do that. So you get an A+. Having a calm pace is the one element you might miss for S tier, but we don't need S tier. We need fun, enthusiastic, explaining Xenoblade rapidly because they're 200-hour RPGs with gacha mechanics, so. Actually, doesn't only Xenoblade 2 technically have the big gacha mechanic? I'm not gonna lie. That was the one I got to sit in on the most, and I was like, Xenoblade 2 seems cool. Fucking love Nia. I love a Welsh cat girl with penis joke. Doesn't she use chakrams too? Unironically best character. Xeno 3 has a smart alternative. They use AI. Xenoblade 3 is using ChatGPT constantly throughout the game to generate stuff for you. And it might be unethical, but Pig's committed here, so he's not gonna sell the farm quite yet. He's gonna stick with it. Fun. You haven't streamed Xenoblade 3, right? I know it connects some stuff. I can't wait to see how that... I can't wait to see or hear how that works. Not yet. If it's anything like Dragon Quest or Mega Man, or it's just like loosely connect a couple games over insane expanses of time. Oh, it connects all the stuff. And then it'll be a doozy to hear. Fucking Mega Man fills me with an... I love Mega Man. It's cute. It's great. It's got some action. It fills me with a sort of existential dread, especially Zero, which is why I haven't finished a Zero game. Zero is as far as I'm willing to go in the timeline, because there's only 2 Mega Man Legends games, and the mind-bending connections they make to the rest of the series hurts me. Anyone who doesn't know, the different sub-series of Mega Man take place across hundreds of thousands of years, and Mega Man Legends takes so far in the future that the line between humans and robots no longer exists. They are one thing, and they live on fucking alternative Earth. And yet, for some reason, one of the robots is still called Mega Man for reasons that I can only imagine are lost time at this point. And he's a minor. He's 17 years old and he's a minor. He's a minor. Looking up the story to Mega Man is like reading Old Testament stories, and it's like when Jebediah was in his rebellious 400s. It's like, well, the 400s. What are you talking about? I should play more. I should play more Mega Man on streams. I should do a stream since I goofed up on the Wily Castles for 1 and 2. Well, 2 and 3. I should do a stream that's all Wily Castles. That might be fun. I mean, it won't be fun. I hate the Wily Castles, but it'd be a neat stream gimmick. No doubt. Whenever I'm feeling in a Mega Man mood, I'm always just thinking of Robot Master, so all Wily Castles is interesting. Love what? Don't. Why am I looking at numbers? What is wrong with me? Good. I mean, I don't think there was ever a way you could, you know, customize the dashboard for Twitch Mobile in such a way that you could ignore numbers consistently, but I wish that was something they added. It's definitely, I mean, it's not just viewers, but also like the clock and stuff, where it's like, I want to do longer streams, but looking at this digit makes me want to go to bed now. Oh, I'm sleepy. Did I get the horse tranquilizers are kicking in? Please stop drinking my ivermectin. I'm still full of worm. That was one of the COVID alternatives, wasn't it? So, time to explain Cahill's weird sense of humor. So there's a Penny Snaps Cubes video, right? Where she's playing Roblox, specifically Roblox obbies, which are obstacle courses, and whenever she laughs from viewer submitted videos, she has to restart. And one of the videos someone submitted, which I'm always thinking about, is an anime horse boy romancing an anime girl, and he just says, "Please stop drinking my ivermectin, I'm so full of worms." And I just laugh at that. Typically, I feel like forgetting that was a thing during COVID, wasn't it? Where people were like, if I drink the horse medicine, it will kill the COVID. And I mean, literally anyone with a brain said, no, not at all. I don't know why you thought that. Let's start with the first part. This is for horses. That's the first part. The second adjacent part is that if it's for horses with worms, COVID isn't a worm in any stretch of the imagination. So you're using this on the wrong organism for the wrong organism. There's no level to this where this works in any sense of the imagination. Do you understand that? Also, I went on a little tirade in Discord today. Weirdly connected. Brain moving on. But I went on a little tirade in Discord. Because Disney announced some new theme park stuff, and you know, as modern Disney goes, theme park stuff was pretty neat, and the movies were caca-doo-doo. So that's fun. I love animation being in a bad state. But the government said not to do it, so it works, exactly. But part of what they announced is an expansion to Magic Kingdom, which honestly, I think that park could use, and it's a Villains Land and Cars Land coming in between like not Magic Kingdom, coming in between like Fantasyland and Frontierland, and I went on a whole essay about why I think that works. And then I learned that they are going to put Cars Land where Tom Sawyer Island, like they're going to put a piece of Cars Land where Tom Sawyer Island is, and I'm less excited about it now. like don't get me wrong, I think that's much better than Avatar Land, which I'm so glad they're not they're putting that in California. They're putting Cars Land in Florida finally, and they're putting Avatar Land in California finally. And I'm so glad it's not the Disneyland park, because I'm not kidding you. If they had put Avatar Land in the Disneyland park, I'd become violent. I'd be wildly upset. But we've avoided that reality. But yeah, I mean, I'm really, I get Tom Sawyer Island isn't everyone's cup of tea in the Magic Kingdom park, but I'm really sad to see it just kind of replaced. Like, I think for a lot of stuff in Disneyland, in Magic Kingdom, I think there's like they did it with Country Bears Jamboree. You can update something. You don't have to fully replace it. And just apparently straight up replacing Tom Sawyer Island with a piece of Cars Land, I'm thinking is like, not great, but I'm not against it. I'm just not, you know. It just doesn't make me as happy as if they had just put it behind, because that's an option. That's where they put Galaxy's Edge, which is like a new land a relatively new land in Disneyland. They put it behind Tom Sawyer Island so it wraps all the way around the lake. And I think that would have been much smarter, but I'm guessing that's where they're doing the villain stuff and maybe another piece of Cars Land. But yeah. Hopefully it's well enough done that I won't be sobbing my eyes out. I do think something is lost in replacing Tom Sawyer Island, but that's me. And I mean, fuck, if you want me to open my theme park, then we gotta be making more of these comics and getting them to do bigger numbers. I gotta sell the film rights to Netflix today. No. I wouldn't sell any of the rights for the Wallop Brothers to anyone. Publishing, movie, TV. I'd like to hang on to that, so. Okay, I think I need to start a new layer for his hands. For his hams. Do I have hams? I can't see it on mobile. I have hams, right? Oh yeah, I have hams. Heck yeah. Hams. Rena doesn't stream as much anymore, but I'm so happy about the legacy she left. The legacy that is hams and continues to be hams. You know what would help? It would help to straighten it out. Turn canvas. But yeah. If y'all want to know my thoughts on Disneyland in general, then, I mean, I guess part of it's in Discord, but also, I guess, get to know me on a deep emotional level. And have me pour my heart out to you. I thought about that, right? I was like, would it be cool to make a video essay about Disneyland? And I was like, no, I don't need to cut out my heart and plop it on the table of the internet and then have them plunge 30 knives into it. I don't think, I mean, that, you know, so, call me weird. That doesn't sound fun at all. So I think I won't do that. I don't think I just need people being randomly mean about the most important topic in the world to me. At least when people are mad about Disneyland, you know, on the internet right now, I know it's because of like Disney adults and the company itself shit in the bed, as opposed to what I have to say about it. So man, drawing forward-facing fingers is fucking hard. Does that mean I've evolved as an artist? I don't think drawing hands is hard. I think drawing hands in wildly particular positions is hard. You know, I will say one cool thing. This was pointed out by a tour guide to my parents a long time ago, but Magic Kingdom does have little memorials for any attraction taken out and, you know, replaced with something. And like, for example, an opening attraction for the Magic Kingdom was the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea submarine ride, which even in Disneyland has been rethemed to be Nemo and is completely gone in Magic Kingdom. But in Magic Kingdom, if you go to the Little Mermaid ride in the line, there's a rock that has the Nautilus carved into it, and that's pretty cool. I noticed that for the first time going through the line myself one day when I worked there. That's neat. I will say they're wildly kind of oversimplifying. Not necessarily the deep emotional heart of what I have to say about Disneyland. And I said this as much as this in Discord, but like, I just think themed attractions are cool. You know, places to spend the day with your family and what have you. And in terms of like theming and shit, I really don't think there's much of a contender for design over Disneyland even today. So, and that's kind of unfortunate. I would love that not to be the case. I don't say that out of some kind of blind, you know, love for Disneyland. I'd love it for there to be like, and Disneyland was the first and this one improved it, but I don't think that. You know? I think most quote-unquote theme parks tend to go with one idea, maybe two, and then cap out there. Or opposite, they go with almost like no idea and they just have themed attractions around stuff. And I think that barely counts as a theme park to begin with. So, but that's me. Again, Disney company, not really in love with, but the parks, I can't deny, pretty good. Pretty good. Maybe the best anyone's ever done it. At least for, you know, original Disneyland. Because any Disneyland or Magic Kingdom that comes after the first one is obviously them just replicating the first one. Which is not necessarily the same thing. You know, obviously the conveyor belt you always hear is like a great thing for manufacturing and getting a lot of stuff out there into the world, but that doesn't mean every conveyor belt's a masterpiece. The first like design of a conveyor belt is. Same thing with like toy designs. Not every individual toy design is a masterpiece, but maybe the first one they make of something is, you know? Because it's like, oh wow, look at this cool thing they made. Rubik's Cube. Final answer, Rubik's Cube. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense to anyone pretty sure I lost viewers. Waka waka. I talked about that a lot more earlier on in streaming because, you know, I had the numbers in front of me all the time. And they're definitely not good. Like I said, that's the best advice you can probably give people early on in streaming. Is just don't delete all number. Yeah, you see the fucking little number counter you got down there? Destroy it. Get rid of it. It's best if you never see it again. Man, what was... I keep thinking about... Give me a second. Hide all ban all members from chat. Oh, what was I thinking of? I gotta look up this one clip. Because I keep thinking of this. Oh, it's from Toy Story 3. I was like, why do I keep thinking of this one clip? Oh lord, they're making Toy Story 5. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, in general, the animation industry is kind of in shambles. But that's also not helped when Disney is like, more sequels! No one's loved original content from us. It can only be the sequels. I keep thinking of Lotso being like, she don't love you no more. I'm like, what the fuck is that from? I only saw, I just saw Toy Story 3 in theaters. That's the only place I really saw it. Haven't seen it anywhere else. And I'm okay with that. Here's a good movie. But it's also a sad movie. And I don't need to be watching that every single day. You think my tear ducts are built for that? Bitch. That would up my water intake by an insane degree. Oh goodness. Gotta readjust my butt. Hams. Yeah, that's probably another good tip for early streamers. You know, if you want to do longer streams, make sure you have a comfortable place to do it. Heck, I could give that advice to myself currently streaming, and I've been doing it for like 3 years now. Probably more. I don't check. Why don't I do affiliate-versary? Because I don't like thinking about it. I thank the people who, you know, stick around and got me that kind of stuff, but in terms of marking the passage of time, oh lord. Don't we do that enough already? I'm already thinking about how I'm like older than like Kentaro Miura when he started writing Berserk. So I'm not necessarily older than Walt when he made Mickey and Oswald, but I'm getting there. So apologies if I don't end up adding another event to my calendar for that. Number go up. Bitch, I love number go up. I love it when the number go up. That's my favorite part of doing things, is when the number go up. Or yeah, you know why I want stuff to be successful? Because I don't know, would a day job be better if I could set my own hours, I wonder? Because here's the thing, right? I'm tired today from the shift I work today. And naturally that makes me want to sleep longer, but I can't really do that because I have to get up for work, right? So let's say I had one that I could set my own numbers. I mean, my own hours with, right? Neat, great. But if I wanted to sleep in longer, that would mean I'd have to stay later. And if I gotta do that, then it almost defeats the purpose of getting the morning shift, and I don't want to do that. So then what? You know? I really can't tell ya. Because I'm not just trying to be like, I need to become my own boss and do whatever I want, even though that is the ideal. That is 100% what I'm aiming for. But I know there's, like, on a slightly more practical level, that there are jobs you can get your own hours at. But if that's the case, what's the healthy middle ground between waking up early and starting work late, you know? I do not know, and this music is far too dramatic for the conversation I'm having. A wildly dramatic song. Walt uses a hammer as a weapon. A one-handed hammer, specifically. Willie uses guns. I mean, technically they both carry guns on them, but for Willie, that's more of a primary thing than Walt. Walt can do some close quarter, some CQC, if you will. I wonder if that's... I don't know if Kojima would be ready for that question, or if he'd answer it. But, like, you know, in Metal Gear, like CQC, mixed martial art, perfect for disarming your opponent in any situation. And like they show off using it with like guns and knives, right? Okay, if I gave Snake a hammer, if I gave Big Boss a hammer, and I was like, this is your close quarters weapon, would he still be able to use CQC with it? Would he be like, yeah, he'd be like, a hammer, all right, yeah, I can use this. Or he'd just be like, I prefer my hands. This is impractical at best. It's wildly violent at worst. We need to play Metal Gear on the channel at one point. Hopefully soon. Maybe as like a Christmas game, since the first one takes place in Alaska. I love in Metal Gear 3 when Big Boss, currently Snake, is he gets the crocodile hat, and when you call people with it, he wants them to like take it as like a prank. But most of the codec calls are about how good of an idea that is. About disguising himself with like local fauna, and you can hear him be subtly, secretly disappointed. It's really great. I don't typically think, I mean, MGS3 is tragic, but I don't think of it as like wholly tragic. But at the same time, keeping in mind how endearing the characters are, and then hearing about their canonical different fates, and I mean just in general where Big Boss ends up after, definitely sad. No doubt. I cannot... My other brothers can't deny. I mean, that's very textbook writing, right? You know, make audience love a character, have bad thing happen to character. But I don't know. There's something particular in MGS3. Maybe it's because the situation is already dire as is. So it'd be like there's already a level of it to that, you know? And then like following that up, you then have the rest of the series. So I don't know. I didn't work on MGS3. I can't tell you. We all know Konami's big shithead, right? It's wild because, like, you have MGS, which is obviously made by Kojima, who is by himself already pretty out there. But one of their other big titles is Silent Hill. And when you hear about, like, because what I've heard about the development of the original Silent Hill was that it was used in the office as like a spot for like troublemakers, you know, like the team who would work on it were mostly made up of people who otherwise weren't necessarily doing that great of a job on other projects, and after a while they were just kind of left to do whatever the hell they wanted, which ended up making Silent Hill. And what was I thinking of? I'm thinking of that versus, you know, Konami realizing how successful it is and then trying to make bank off of it while completely not realizing the kind of shit that made it popular in the first place. Insane. I mean, that's why. That is one reason I have no desire to get the MGS3 remake, even if it is pretty good. They put MGS3 on fucking Switch. I don't need it on anything else. And I don't need to see Big Boss's pores. I think MGS3 has a really cool mixture of like realistic and low poly. You know? It's not MGS1 where they have pixel faces. And it's a bit better than 2, where it is kind of the same style in 2, but obviously the technology, shading, texturing, all that kind of stuff was a bit more primitive. And honestly, I would consider it almost like the same as Peace Walker. So like MGS3 and Peace Walker, I think they're kind of the same in being like low poly, realistic big boss games. And then of course 5 is the most realistic Metal Gear got under Kojima. But yeah, I think its graphics have held up super well and are super charming. And I have not, at no point was ever like, I need a remaster of this game. I mean, remaster, sure, because that's just making it look a little clearer, but I don't need a I was never like, I need a remake of this game. Because I thought it was fine. I was like, I love looking at Big Boss's polygons. My favorite part. So, that's me. I think low polygons can work for a lot of reasons, in a lot of different ways. Like I've said before, for like Lethal Company, it's honestly something I'd want from a final version of Lethal Company isn't necessarily quote-unquote better graphics, but almost just like better collision and AI and stuff like that. Like, I think the thumpers look great as they are. I don't need that to change. I would just like them to stop clipping into stuff and what have you, you know? And make things make things a bit cleaner. So that way I'm sold on the game as like a physical space and not just like a bunch of polygons clipping into each other. You know what I mean? I think MGS3 does that really well. I can't think of a, like, maybe the box, but I mean that's true of any MGS game. If you bring out the box in certain places, it clips into stuff. Also, I love how, like, even by MGS2, right? Like, so technically, hiding in a cardboard box starts in the MSX game for Metal Gear, right? And in the first Metal Gear Solid, it's still taken incredibly straightforward, you know? You do a codec call about it, and Natalia, who's the weapons expert, is just like, yes, a cardboard box. A very good idea. But then by 2 and 3, it's a joke. Like, they're already memeing on it. I'm like, Snake, why the fuck are you in a box? And he's like, a box. And they're just like, fine, I guess that works. And it always works. Metal Gear box never doesn't work, so... Well, they gotta accept it. You gotta accept me, Dad. I love sitting in boxes. We're gonna be playing MGR again soon. Hopefully all in one stream, as ambitious as that might sound. And I believe I've said it before and I'll say it again, but like, I feel like there's stuff they could do to tie in Metal Gear Rising with the main series more. But honestly, I almost feel like the box and semi-stealth aren't quite it. Like, honestly, they could flesh that out more too. Like, you could do one of... I feel like they could have done one of two avenues with Metal Gear Rising that would have both connected it more to the main series while not necessarily sacrificing the core experience and gameplay that's still there. One is just fleshing out the stealth at all, you know, making it easier and or more rewarding to have ride and hide and get 1 or 2 stealth kills off before going into full combat, right? The other is remove it entirely and maybe add something like the CQC or what have you in there, where, you know, like, you go up to a different combatant, you press the CQC button, you either like interrogate them, get stuff, or actually that would be really good, because I know there's like the healing items and stuff in Rising, right, that can be very useful, and the ability to walk up behind one of the guards, be like, hey, give me something, and they're like, well, here, have my fucking nano toothpaste. And then you get that and you knock him out. That'd be good. I'd do that. Especially if, like, then with like that mechanic as opposed to the stealth one, you could like get a pacifist run, get through a large amount of sections by just knocking people out, not killing them. Kind of antithetical to the game, but obviously it'd be the hardest thing to do, so definitely not something people would do a first playthrough on. Just for 100%. But yeah, something like that. Probably better than just randomly giving you a box, occasionally saying, hey, hide in this, stupid. If I remember right, even like the magazines from the OG Metal Gear games are better than the boxes. Better than the boxes in the vast majority of stealth, because from what I've seen, you can throw like a magazine into combat first, immediately distract the initial opponents, and take them out pretty easy. And then, like, you can throw a magazine into combat first, immediately distract the initial opponents, and take them out pretty easy. And then, like, you can throw a magazine into combat first, immediately distract the initial opponents, and take them out pretty easy. And then, like, you can throw a magazine into combat first, immediately distract the initial opponents, and take them out pretty easy. And does that play into like their semi-stealth that they already have? Yes. But like, you know, I still think that's different from quote-unquote like hiding from opponents, what have you. Huh. What was the thing, you know? Oh my goodness. I don't go in share. Okay. Goodness, people text me during stream sometimes. They're not that I'm not trying to complain about people texting me. I mean, I was literally talking about like I I need less contact. It's just that when someone texts me, I already get a little scared. Social anxiety and what have you, right? When that happens during stream, there is a multiplier on that bitch. Good lord. I really need it to stop happening. And again, I'm not blaming the people texting me. At the end of the day, it's more like a chance rando thing, I feel like. I just need the numbers to be in my favor. You know? But then again, I could kind of say that about just like any time where it's like someone texted me at an inopportune time where I'm just like, oh no. Oh wait, oh beans. Oh nuts. I was not prepared for an interaction over the phone like this right now. This causes a problem for me as I was previously occupied. So it happens. I was thinking about that today. I don't know how much I talked about it. I must have talked about this on stream at some point, but I think the biggest like thing that can cause social anxiety for me personally is just someone perceiving a slight against them where I intend it none. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, okay, so like if someone perceives you as almost like more friendly than you meant to be or whatever, right? That's fine. You're in the pot. You're in the. It's like finance. You went from the red. Now you're in the black. Like you're all good. You are overflowing in goodwill. It's all worked out, even better than you could have perceived. But when like if someone is like, oh no, they were mean to me one time because of this thing, and I was like, I didn't mean that. That wasn't the intention behind it at all. It's like, well, now we're in the opposite. We've gone backwards, and I didn't even know that. It's one thing when it's like you don't like someone doesn't like you, and like it's mutual, and you understand, and it happens, and it's whatever. It's another thing when there's like a unspoken bit about that. I don't like that at all. And I don't like the possibility for it to happen. You know? Just remove all risk factors. I think about that, but then there's also all those animes, which I like. Which makes me a nerd, yes. But anyway, there's all those animes about just like, yeah, you can be alone, but if you're alone, you know, bad stuff won't happen, but also good stuff won't happen. You gotta take the good with the bad. And I'm like, I get it. I'm just trying to find my healthy medium, you know? I think I like less than a lot of people. But like I said, everything in life is about balance, you know? Nothing can be all one or all the other thing. So... But, you know, sometimes balance doesn't mean just, like, equal parts of everything. Sometimes it means having a certain amount of one thing and a certain amount of another. Like, 2 hours of social interaction, a 24-hour day. Hey, can you come over? No, I used my 2 hours of social time in my dreams last night. So I am pooped. I'll catch you on the flip. Let's just hope I don't have any dreams tonight, am I right? Okay. Alright, see you later. You know, maybe I got the same deal as Jaden Animations. I don't know if I do, but like, she's talked about social anxiety before, and she'd be like, I describe it as, you know, I hate myself, and I think everyone else does too. And I'm not gonna go on the self-deprecating rant, but, you know, I'm talking about worrying people perceiving stuff I do as like a slight against them. And I wonder if she's kind of trying to describe the same thing of just like, oh no, this person has stopped liking me because of random thing that happened. And I worry that was perceived negatively. Who knows? The mind is a weird, wondrous question mark? Question mark wondrous in place. And I honestly, I fully believe whether it's another human or another just living thing, there's really never any real way to tell whether you two are perceiving kind of the same thing or having the same emotions. I have no doubt people have succeeded in successfully communicating their emotions to others in such a way that the other party involved is like, yes, that is exactly also what I feel. But I think emotions are a harder thing than a lot of people give them credit for. They're not one-dimensional, and I don't think they're just chemicals in our brain either. Like, that's what causes us to feel them. But, you know, they're also kind of just like our whole perception of reality to a degree. So, I think that means something. I got weirdly deep this stream so far, and it reminds me that like on my like For You page on different apps, I've gotten stuff about like absurdism philosophy, which is kind of like opposite nihilism, where like you see it as things don't necessarily matter in this world, and that's okay. That means you kind of do what you want. Hopefully be nice, but you know, like you take it easy, because if nothing matters, it's all chill, right? But I don't know what I did to start getting posts about that. I kind of dig it, but I don't know why it just popped up. Maybe it... Do you think, like, Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff, do you think there's any kind of, like line of code or what have you to, like, throw spaghetti at the wall, as it were? You know what I mean? Where even if you're, like, years deep into your profile and out in database and whatever, like every now and then it throws you a wild card, because it's just like, I don't really have any data on whether or not you'd like this, so what do you think of it? You know? I wonder how much of any big company algorithm is that Just like I don't know, give them random big video. We don't know if they'll like it, but no reason not to try. You gotta do something. I was like, should I worry about filling in more space on this? And not only am I already planning to kind of put in a some hatching back here to infer like the shade of the trees, but I also need to have Walt speaking. That is, I've said that so many times, it's genuinely something I love about comics. You know, the art of like making sure text is in a good place, yada yada yada. And heck, some professional comics don't bother doing that right. You can see posts about that online. But super cool. I do not think comics are the lesser of any one given art form. I think they are the meeting of like writing and illustration, two of the oldest art forms that we as humans have endeavored upon. So they're super cool like that. IMO. Lord, I am kind of lucky. My family is going to be away this weekend, so you know, fingers crossed, we can we can chill out just a little bit, hang out with my little cave, my little bat cave. That's the current plan, anyway. I definitely need to go. I definitely need to go do some adulting stuff around town and what have you, but honestly, I figure that can wait till next week. If you were to ask me, family's like, you should do it as soon as possible, and I'm like, you're right, but consider I can take it easy for a week, and I will do it next time. Listen, sometimes you I don't know. To me, that's how things work, you know. You make little slots of like, I don't want to do this, so I will prepare myself to do it at this time. I don't even necessarily want to call it mentally preparing, because I mean, to a degree, I guess it's procrastinating. I guess that's what you'd call it. It was like, to a degree, it's just like, I'll do it later. So I guess I'm just procrastinating. But I don't know. Is it Let me see this. I'm gonna look this up right now. Is it procrastinating? Okay. Let me say, does procrastinating, is this me procrastinating on art? Procrastinating have to be repetitive? Does procrastination, yes, procrastination can be repetitive. Okay, let me say procrastination meaning to put off intentionally and habitually. So I guess by definition, me being like, I'll wait to do that thing I have to do is procrastinating. Like, in theory, I could get it done sooner, but I'm for just whatever personal reason I'm not. You know? But I don't know. It definitely doesn't feel in the spirit of the word that people tend to use it, you know? Not to me, at least. That's why I was trying to look up if it has to be, like, repetitive. Because I feel like that is so typically what we see it as nowadays. procrastinating isn't scheduling something for later. Procrastinating is, you know, constantly and repetitively just waiting to do something. But I don't know if that's necessarily the word changing over time, or if I'm correct in being like, I think, you know, I guess I have to pick my poison here, you know? Like, if we have to put a word to me waiting to do something necessary, it's either I'm mentally preparing myself or I'm procrastinating. Frankly, I don't like the sound of either, but that's why it's called picking your poison. So, oh well. That's life. I think I just like being easygoing, so I don't necessarily like doing a bunch of errands in a row. Big errands, at least. Obviously, I always see, like, you know, grocery shopping and picking stuff up. That's one errand. Maybe if stuff is also on your way, that can be 1.5, but anything that you can't just do, any necessary things you can't just do in the same trip and same day, that's definitely 2 big errands. And I do definitely prefer having some buffer days between. Enjoy life again. Yeah, well, I mean, because, you know, if you don't realize kind of what I'm saying here, like I was saying I bought a car and stuff last stream, right? And it went okay, all things considered. I got a good deal, yada yada yada. But I definitely don't want to do anything like that again. Like, it's not the worst, but it's definitely not my oh boy activity. So that's why I'm just like, yeah, other necessary things, those will happen later. Okay, I need to... I know, I just spent so much time selecting, and now I gotta redo some stuff. There we go. That should be good, as far as I know. That's the problem with drawing these kind of... these things. Leaves and these very scratchy textures. Is when you're using, like, the magic wand tool. It's very easy for it to accidentally just kind of bleed into the plant, the area you don't want it to. Okay, I think we're good on that, though. Just that one change. Okay. I'm not against it. Here's what I'd like to do, though. It might be... I'm gonna give it a chance to be like... I kind of want to see if I can make more like all black work, you know? See if doing something like this, a bunch of outlines of trees and stuff, if that looks better. I don't know. I feel like so like I feel like a lot of times people I really think people say art is hard because they don't realize what you really have to do is like look at something for what it is and then do your best to replicate that on a page with different like little tricks and everything. Not necessarily hard tricks, things that come pretty easily to you once you realize or know them, right? But sometimes the hard thing about that is like, and I was kind of talking about that back here with drawing other like plant and dense vegetation, is like sometimes your brain's just really filling in like static, you know? It's not necessarily actually picking up on all the little details. It's like you're getting the gist, and maybe subconsciously, you know, it's like, yes, I remember what that looks like, and if you delved into my mind, I could show you, but you're filling stuff in with a lot of static noise, a lot of static shock on 4Kids, you know. Everyone fills in their resume with static shock. Right? Yeah? Sick. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, I like these, what I'm doing here with the black much better. Honestly, that's kind of something I found hard about working on the water. Because obviously, to a degree, some of the art inspiration here is Eiichiro Oda in One Piece, right? And I'm not, and it's never going to be as much as people think, but you know, still a bit. But honestly, I have always wanted Oda, like Oda's waves are super scratchy and doodly, but I don't really like them. I'd rather they be solid shapes. So I can't necessarily take the technique he kind of does for waves one for one. Like I kind of gotta do it on my own. And that can be a little hard. So, I don't know. Goodness. Up. Bum, 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 bum. Tis what tis, you know. Here's another art thing. Like sometimes in like pictures and stuff, certain like outlines and what have you line up, but you can't always, it's not great to do that in drawings, because if like an outline lines up too well, if a foreground outline and a background outline line up too well, sometimes people will just read it as one object, and you don't necessarily want that. So even if on a picture it looks like that, sometimes you gotta do a little editing to sell the effect of space and distance between the two. It's interesting. It's interesting the way sometimes you have to divert from realism in certain drawings in order to sell the correct like idea and imagery, you know. You can't actually just trace over outlines, yada yada yada. Up. Hey, Apollo. How you doing? Okay, I hope. Hope you haven't encountered any lions or tigers or bears or omais. That would be scary. Yeah, that looks good. Then maybe we add one more shadow over here to finally help add that like middle ground and stuff. And then maybe I can actually do something with the lines back here. Maybe add like a gradiating effect. That might be better done with... That might be better done with halftones though. I use plenty of halftones in these things, so... I shouldn't... Just a haunted metal lumberjack and a possessed scarecrow. Damn! Interesting, but not scary. So... Paula stays winning. Wizard of Oz is great. Heck. Were we talking about films? What was I talking about? Talking about work, antisocial, Disneyland. I forget. I mean, I was saying Disney's current film process ain't really it, but you know, what else is new? Up. Gonna tentatively call it a good day. Heard from my landlord and the apartment repairs are finished. Heck yeah! Yeah, you were talking about that, weren't you, Paula? Well, I'm glad they're getting fixed. You deserve to not have not in good shape living conditions. That's for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm digging this. Well, let me try something. I'm gonna select this, this, and this. Span that like we've been doing. Copy, paste. And then, what I think we can do is take like a big eraser and then do like this. Actually, I might want a smaller eraser, shockingly. And then do like a sweep in motion here. Here's the problem. There might not even really be enough space for this. Yeah, no, it's just gonna... I think that looks a-okay in like black and white, and any attempts at like hatching and stuff are just gonna bring it down, which is not great. Also, he said he wanted me to give him a call to discuss things going forward. Oh my goodness. Let's remember, Paula, landlords are parasites. I say that having had good landlords in the past, but seriously, I hope they don't give you shit, and if they do, hopefully it won't be long before getting a better setup for yourself. So, okay, I'm gonna try and draw at least one more thing, since I imagine Paula has not been here for long. And to their credit, I have had times where I've ended a few streams once they get here. So specifically, I just want to draw a Walt's reaction in this like foreground space right here. you know, which won't be too hard. I remember someone saying, so One Piece, this one seems to be a good, it doesn't always mean great things. Well then, I don't know if he is that good. If you're going and go for it. Are you sure, Paula? Is there anyone you'd like us to raid? I don't want to be rude. We were literally just talking about that. Because I love you being here. Sometimes it's just timing. So. I do want to do, here's the thing. Regardless of Paula, I do want to do longer streams. So that's why I'm just like, nah, hang out for a bit more. Because I do want to make it a habit of going decently well over the 2-hour mark, if not into the 3-hour mark, for multiple reasons. I don't want someone to think if they raid me around 2 hours or what have you, that I'll just end all of a sudden. Or that it means stream's automatically over. I just get sleepy. I am nothing if not our Lord and Savior's sleepiest soldier. I love sleep. I wonder if I could do an effect here where like Walt's hair starts standing up underneath his hat, you know? I'm trying to think. This way. Okay, yes. I was like, fucking, if I'm doing a 180 on Walt, what's, you know, what way is his hat facing now? Walt's hat is so weird. It's like a 2.5 dimensional object, which isn't really, I don't know if that's a thing in science, but like, to a degree, it like just flips from side to side, right? Like a piece of paper. But it does have like some depth to it. Like it can, if necessity calls for it, face forward towards the camera like Willie's does. And similarly, Willie's can go sideways and kind of take a shape like Walt's does when appropriate times call for it. But Lord knows I don't draw that. So, that's on me. Okay. I do think we'll call, I got caught up in sketching, but I don't want to do fine line work. Lord knows. So we'll save it here. And then we'll look for someone to raid. If anyone has any suggestions at this late hour on who you might think would be a good candidate to raid, let me hear them. Also, let me make chat bigger on my screen. What was I thinking of? So this isn't One Winged Angel, is it? No, I think that this is a Monster Hunter jam. It's something. Yeah. I think this is Devil Joe, if I'm not mistaken. Guillaume's been streaming for a while, I know that. I can't raid Iron Mouse. Big's live with World of Warcraft. Oh. Nah, Travis McElroy is also live. I mean, what was I thinking of? Well, yeah, let's consider raiding. How about we raid Travis? Let's go out on a limb here. If you don't know my brother and me, then you might not recognize him, but it's pretty. I met him in person, so you can say that. I'm not joking. I don't know how many times I've told the story on Twitch, but my college was in Philadelphia, and I was walking down the street because it's like in the middle of the city. So, you know, you're walking with a bunch of other commuters, and I look next to me, and the guy standing next to me is a little shorter, but he has painted nails, reddish hair that is dyed at the tips, and wearing a pretty nice hat. And I'm like, man, that's all stuff Travis McElroy has. And then I was like, that is Travis McElroy. And I will always remember that. It was so fun. He was super nice. So, let's raid him. I hope to see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna play some Monster Hunters. Maybe even for decently longer than we did art, because, you know, it's easier to play games for a long time. I hope to see you guys then. Bye!